I've been helping people start, grow, and thrive on YouTube for nearly 2 decades. I've got 3 silver play buttons here and another 3 silver play buttons coming from clients very soon. So what I'm going to do is deep dive into my extensive back catalogue and give you a one-stop guide and everything that you need to know on how to make fantastic YouTube videos, because I've got thousands of videos on this channel, but if we can cram them all into one tasty, fantastic video binge goodness, you can get all of the information in one place and start your journey today. So subscribe so you don't miss it, grab a cup of tea, get your notebook, and let's dive in. Let's start with, how do I know what kind of content to make?
Here I am, sat with my kettle, but today I'm going to tell you what kind of YouTube channel you should start. It's a question that's asked over and over and over again. And me as a YouTube coach, I get asked this so often. At the end of the day, you need to use your brain, because there is one secret to knowing the content that you should create. But before I get to that secret, you need to start preparing yourself.
Are you ready for it?
Are you ready to sit there in front of a camera and record a video every week for the next, I don't know, 2.5 years? Are you ready to turn this hobby into an obsession? Because that's the thing that a successful person running a YouTube channel needs to do. Before you've even found out the secret at the end of this video of what content you should make, you truly need to understand what kind of content that you're willing to make on a regular basis. I have seen many YouTubers come and go over the course of the last 10 years that I've been on this platform. They've been here for a short cup of tea and then they've disappeared. Life gets in the way of people making content on YouTube, and I've been stubborn enough and lucky enough to keep creating this until it's become my day job. You need to understand that it's not necessarily about the equipment that you are using as well. I may have a DSLR 200D, but the DSLR, it's a basic camera. Or the only reason I happen to have it is that my partner bought it for me, which was helpful because I was using a shitty little webcam many years ago. The advantage of this is that I can mount a microphone to up here above the camera. I can use the camera here, and I've got some kind of display window right here that I can see my face so I can line myself up with. It doesn't have to be a DSLR camera for you to do that. You can have a mobile phone on a stand that points right at you that you can then record with. You could be holding it up. I suggest you don't, but you can have a mini tripod so it's secure. Most mobile phones these days happen to have everything that you need to create content. You need to do an element of research, don't get me wrong. You need to understand what you're going to be talking about. You can't just turn it on and, today I had chicken, and then there's a ceiling and there's a wall. You need to have a purpose behind it, but you need to understand that once you've got the foundation in place, somewhere that you can record from, even if it is in a hotel room, sat at their kitchen table pointing at a kettle. You need to be in a place that you're comfortable in recording, that you're comfortable in projecting to a microphone, that you're able to discuss the topic that you wish to be in, that you have the energy and the attention to do so. And as I said, willing to do this for a good year or two for you want to grow and to make this a thing. You can't expect to be making 2 to 3 videos a year and to be a Casey Neistat or a Philip DeFranco, a Shane Dawson. Maybe that's a bad example these days. Once you're prepared, this is the secret to understanding what type of channel that you want to make.
Drumroll, please!
When I first started my YouTube channel, I looked at the things that I loved. I looked at the things that I could do, the unfair advantage that I could bring to YouTube. And my unfair advantage is the thing that I love the most, which is teaching people about YouTube, social media, and web development growth.
Nerd!
I brought my personality and my knowledge of what at my time was my day job to the platform. So I knew that I could make a YouTube channel talking about the thing that I love. I love to blog. I love to create YouTube content. I love to grow businesses around YouTube. So why not teach YouTube? Why not be the YouTube coach for people? I already have the education, I already have the qualifications as a YouTube certified expert, so why not use my camera to teach people how they can grow on YouTube? You may have the unfair advantage that you've been knitting since the age of 2, and now you can make these fantastic designs, and you're really fantastic and really great at it, and you love it, and you can knit for years, and you know all the patterns in the world. Maybe you should make a channel about knitting. Maybe you're learning to skate on a skateboard, and you want to share that enthusiasm of your new hobby with other people that are learning. See, you don't have to be an expert, you just have to have the love, the passion for the thing that you are talking about. And that there is what you should make your YouTube channel into.
Okay, now that you've got the starting blocks and you understand what videos that you wish to make, maybe even made a huge hit list of the videos that you have to make to start growing your channel, let's have a look at the basics. What equipment do I need? Hello and welcome to my tiny office. As you'll see here, it is truly tiny. I've been recording out of box rooms and offices and living rooms for around about 7-8 years. Some of the earliest videos on this channel is me in front of a suspended screen of just a fake brick wall. I've used green screens. That was a living room. In the last year and a half, 2 years, I was lucky enough to be using a spare bedroom and putting these shelves behind me into a set. And right now I'm pretty much in a box room, which is big enough to put a cot and a wardrobe in. But there's a lot of equipment that I've collected over the last 3-5 years that help me make my YouTube videos. I'm going to show you every piece of equipment I've got knocking around that I've used to make my videos on YouTube over the last 8 years. Now, obviously there'll be a few things that I'm going to be using whilst doing this, so I'll list those up front. One, this wonderful chair, an Umi chair, which you can see as part of this video here. It is a gaming chair that was sent to me, and it is really, really comfortable. Ever since I moved into this studio, this has been the thing that I've been sat on, whilst previously it was footstools or I was standing up. This here, the thing that you might not be able to see properly, is a lavalier mic. It's a Boya BY M1, and it's a cardioid microphone. In other words, it's a little microphone that you stick here. That way I can move around wherever I want, even behind the camera, and the audio would be focused here, rather than a shotgun mic like the one on top of my Canon 200D. The Canon 200D is my first and only DSLR. It was bought for me as a Christmas present by my girlfriend about 2 and a bit years ago, and that was a huge investment for me because I really suck at buying stuff for myself. And the Video Mic Go is a shotgun mic, which means it points it straight at you and it catches anything that's in front of it, really, whatever it's pointing at. It's very good at pointing things, but not very good if you're talking behind it or you're trying to get the spatial awareness. And if I move away from the camera using a shotgun mic, it loses the audio quality, because if I'm halfway down a canal or halfway down a pavement, I'm nowhere near the microphone. Whilst this Boya BY M1, not only does it have a stupidly long microphone cable, but it's attached to me. The camera is on a Polaroid 60-inch tripod, and tripods have saved my life, because in my early videos you can go back and you can see where I piled it all up on tables and footstools, and every time I even stepped forward the camera would wobble. But those are the basics that I'm using right now: the camera, the microphone, the tripod, oh, and of course a ring light, which is right here. My ring light doesn't dial in, it just turns on and turns off, but you can get ones that you can dial up in brightness, even have color scheme, even have sleeves. All of the equipment that I mentioned today, by the way, is in the description down below, should you want to go off and investigate. Now I'm going to start tearing apart the set behind me and packing it away so I can move it into the new office that I'm hoping to get signed and sealed within this week. This way I get stuff packed and you get to see what I actually use. Starting off with the super simple stuff. This is a USB and this is attached to me. This is a microphone. Once again, another lapel microphone. Now, before your VY M1 can connect to the camera, right, and it has a headphone jack, but it's not very good if I'm sat there trying to record screen records or trying to do voice chats or trying to do consultations using a laptop. So this plugs into the USB, this plugs here, and then I can do a lot of work there. This is probably something that you've seen countless billion times by many people, a Logitech C920, maybe even a C920C. These initially
went for like 50, 60 quid. But during this pandemic thing, people have been scalping them at 150, 120. When I first started YouTube, I didn't have a DSLR camera. I just used a webcam and then tried to clump together some decent audio. So you can start on your mobile phone or you can start on a webcam. Webcams are very good for live streams as well. An obvious piece of equipment that everybody has is their mobile phone. This is an iPhone SE 2020 edition. I've had an iPhone SE for 4 or 5 years. I had the original ones. I just prefer the way the screen works and the button works. Here, that is my missus on my lock screen. This thing, as with any smartphone, can give you some of the great fantastic audio. It can help you take video clips on the go. You can record in 4K. You don't even need a DSLR if you're starting today. You could just use a smartphone to get started. Content online is better than no content at all. Perfection of continuing to tweak is your enemy. So this is a Boya BY DM200. I got this for Christmas just gone. Why? Because I needed slightly better audio on my Lightning port based smartphone. So this plugged in to the Lightning port on my iPhone, and it's a little microphone, a little shotgun mic. So what I do is I plug it in here, right? And if I'm making podcasts or if I'm recording a video, there you go, little microphone there. It's just a little bit better than your onboard audio. There's no battery in it. Boya, I find, is quite a good cheap alternative to like the Rode or the Sennheiser. A Rode microphone could be a few hundred if you're going top end, but you get a Boya equivalent, then they're easily half the price. All the Boya equipment comes in nice little bags for you to carry. It's even got one of those like dead cat things, so you kind of just and take it wherever you want. I'm keeping this out along with obviously my phone and maybe like a mini tripod to go and have a look at the office later. I'll show you. Here you go. This is an example of the microphone. I've done a comparison on these, by the way, in another video. I'll put it somewhere in the iCard. I did a comparison between the Boya BY MM1, which is the carbide shotgun microphone, and the Video Mic Go, which is the Rode thing on top of this camera. Once again, plugs into your camera, gives you directional quality audio, and it's always good to have a few options knocking about. This is much cheaper than the Video Mic Go. It just so happens that I've got a couple knocking about just in case. And as you can see here, I've kept the box for the Video Mic Go. Why? Because it looks good on the set behind me. Wireless headphones. Now I've got a few sets. I've got a big set of cans that I edit with that cost me 20, 30 quid. They're M-POWs. I'll show you some footage here if I can find them. But these little beauties, are little in here, like wireless headphones from Anker. They're the Soundcore Soundcore Surge Buds. Why are these important? Well, in some cases, I just want to listen to music whilst editing, or I want to keep myself to myself. And what these do is these can sync to your phone, these can sync to your laptop, right? I don't know if you can just, They come in a nice little springy thing, a load of headphone wires and stuff like that. Great for keeping on me. I take them when I go on walks, when I'm walking down the canal, hopefully when I get on flights in the year 2027 billion. I would be lost without a good pair of headphones, because over the years, I used to have the headphone jack ones and you'd lose one sound in one ear, sound in the other, right? Or they'd get tangled in something. They're either clipped to me always here when I go out, or they're in my pocket. Love them. Laptop cooling pad, right? This goes under the beast of a machine, right, that I edit with. So this plugs into the laptop and cools it down when needed, because this is the beast that's on top of it. It's the Dell XPS 15, the 2019 edition. It's basically a PC equivalent of a Mac. It cost me $2.5 grand. So that's about $3,500. But I only bought this because the business was doing well. Before that, I edited on a really bad laptop that cost me £200 that I slowly upgraded with an SSD and slowly added RAM to. This was a business investment. Some people buy cameras. I was editing videos for other creators, right? So this paid for itself, but every time I made a video for somebody else and uploaded it for them, and that made me 75 to £100 maybe a video. So this paid for itself, and now this edits all of my content on here, and I won't switch this out for easily another year and a half, 2 years. Why 2 years? Because if you truly use your laptop for work, you realize how quickly you go through a laptop rather than just a casual user. Now, I will list the spec of this, right, in the description down below, but safe to say you're looking at an i9 4K screen. It's got a large SSD, and I think it's got 32 gigs of RAM. So it's a brute force machine. And the reason I got this is because the old laptop would render a 10-minute video in about 15-20 minutes, half hour. This does it in 2 minutes and saves me a lot of time. And when you're in YouTube and social media, it's the time that you need to keep winning back. Because I can make a little bit more money with my half hour, an hour on the laptop if it's available, right? When it's rendering in 2 minutes rather than rendering 2 videos in 30 minutes. I hope you understand what I mean by that. Okay, here's my bag of random wires. Now this is a box that I also store all my stuff in. I absolutely love these. I would swear by these, right? They go in my shelving unit here, which is like by Homebase or by IKEA. It's one of those Kallax square units, but you have to organize them, right? So I've got these. They've got handles. I've got them black. I've got them in blue. I want to do, and they're all just below here, so I can hide all of my terrible mess. But I also store my wires and my cables and my other electrical equipment in here, and my ton of tea cakes that I've eaten. This is another wired lavalier microphone, but this one plugs into the headphone jack of my computer. Now, I got this because I had at the time a laptop that had a dedicated headphone and dedicated microphone slot. So I wanted to use a jack-based system. I also, to be honest, wanted to test cheap alternatives for the camera thing, but you very quickly learn that not all headphone jacks were made equal. It depends on how many bands they've got, whether it's a digital thing, whether it can be used for the smartphone, that kind of thing. And this is by Toner. They also do little microphones as well. You'll see a trend over time. I'm a firm believer in the Anker brand. The Anker headphones, I've got an Anker soundbar, a mini soundbar. This is an Anker power block, which does around about 10 iPhone charges, right? And it's fantastic. It takes a while to charge, right? But once charged, you've got your USBs, you've got your Lightning, your USB-C, right? And this can keep your laptop going. This kept my phone going whilst my other half was giving birth to my son in a hospital, and I had to be around for 10, 11, 12 hours trying to keep myself entertained whilst she was trying to stab me because she was in pain. But this power block I can take anywhere. I'll be taking on airplanes, I'll be taking to hotels when the world opens up. And having one of these knocking around your house is actually more useful than you realize, because your mobile phone battery dies fairly often. I always have a load of USB cables, including, and here's a sneak hint, an old iPhone charger, because I've recently added to my setup an old iPad. Why old? Because it was free and it doesn't matter. Why an iPad? Well, if I want to do screen recordings for i-based content, maybe I show you how to add in screens or edit videos on an iPad, then there you go. I don't have to use an emulator online. I can use one of these. And once again, this I believe was donated to the family for the 5-year-old by my father-in-law. So yeah, here we go. So we can now place apps on here. It's also very good at making notes, keeping ideas on, and keeping you entertained when you're out and about. Maybe having a script if you're recording in a park or something. It's also a great way to entertain a 5-year-old should you need to, you know, set up a camera and record something very quickly. Mini light. You ready? I'm gonna blind you. This is a fantastic way of giving you additional pieces of light. Now, when I went to VidCon 2020, at the start of last year, before the world went to crap, I was trying to record a load of video footage in my hotel room, in which I was using the orange lights from the ceiling, and if I was lucky, maybe the torch from my phone. This was my solution that I've thought of ever since. It's a little light that that's all LED. You can see all the little bulbs there. right, that I can put wherever I want and shine to give a little bit of light in places, right? I can bounce it off a wall like I'm doing there. See the difference when I turn it off, right? I can make it my main light. I can attach it to my camera if I so want to, or in dark areas, I can illuminate. You can also get color covers. Should you want to put red, blue, green behind you, you'll be seeing that in some of my videos in future. When I go into the new office, I'm going to set up an area that says this, an area that is light-based. But this is the alternative to the ring light. The ring light might cost you 20, 30, 50 quid or more. This is the cheaper alternative and a hell of a lot more mobile. I can put that in my pocket without any problems. HD video capture card. Now, I'll be honest, I've not used this yet. I blame Rob Wilson for this idea existing. He hooks up his DSLR camera to his laptop using one of these. Now, this is not like an Elgato kind of capture card. It could be used as a low-res capture card. He says opening it, right? But what it is a HDMI to USB kind of connector, okay? So I can connect this to my computer and then plug my camera via HDMI into here, and then it converts it, maybe even turn it into a webcam that I can live stream with, or use it directly into the laptop. Comes with a cable and an extender, so I can extend it as far as I wish. And it says that it records in 1080p, 60 frames per second, plug and play, no need to install, and it's a high speed flash thingy. Basically, I saw Rob Wilson from vidIQ use it, and I thought, well, if he's using it and I'm part of the vidIQ team, maybe I should get to know what it does as well. And most importantly, it was only like $5. Old phone charger, like, you know, micro USB, always great for charging things, always good to have these knocking around rather than plug it into another thing that charges off your laptop. Spare lightning cables, you can never have too many. Another Boya. This is what was inside the Boya BY-MM1 box. Just to show you that it's extra fluffy. It's got the connector at the bottom, and this one comes with a mini tripod and a little spring, so I can attach it to like a phone or clamp it onto a camera. This is a homemade storage device. Basically, I had an old laptop and I ripped out the old SATA hard drive. It's a terabyte drive in here, right? And then what you can do is you buy a case that you plug it into, and then it turns it into a USB-driven external hard drive. This way, I can save and back up everything I want, and because it is USB-C, rather quick. And it's fairly cheap because it's not an SSD. Now, you can get an SSD equivalent and put it in there. It's even faster as well. And some people suggest that if you edit on an external hard drive SSD using USB and USB-C, it could be faster on slower, older laptops. Tripod, I easily have about 5-6 tripods knocking about. This is one of those like cheap equivalents of a Gorilla Pod where you can manipulate it and wrap it around things. It's good for cameras, it's good for phones, it's good for stands. I can mount my lights on it. You can never have too many of these, and because it is quite small, I can put it in a backpack, I can walk into town, I can set up a shot, and it stabilizes something rather than me trying to wedge it up against a tree, or not, just generally not getting that shot at all because I don't have something to hold it up on. However, one of my biggest secrets, and easily one of the best tools I ever got, is a freebie from our people at vidIQ, right? We were giving these out at the vidIQ stand at VidCon. What is it? Right? It is a mini tripod that I can keep in any pocket that I can mount my phone to, right? Anytime that you've seen me sit there and quickly swizz around, I'm using this, right? I can move it around wherever I want. It's got legs, right? I can even detach it should I once again want to put a camera on it or anything that is mountable. And this was free. And this just goes to show that you don't have to pay anything to get equipment that you're going to use on a regular basis. And I use this easily 4 or 5 times a month when recording content. If I'm out and about, if I'm walking on the canal, if I'm just generally filming content that I've planned to make out and about, it will be with this, unless I go with slightly high production. When I was vlogging in my VidCon like vlogs, I was using this. In my earlier videos, I used to show you what equipment I used, and I used giant softbox lighting. These are the bulbs that are inside that light. These are 5500K light bulbs. That's the color, the brightness, how different they happen to be. In human terms, that means that if I turn this on, it looks daylight white, rather than if I turn a light on in the living room, it's kind of tuned to be a little bit more orange. This one's small and this one's big. In all honesty, there's no difference between the two, just I could find them slightly cheaper on eBay. Be warned that daylight bright light bulbs could set you back anywhere between £5 and £8 or $10 per bulb, because they're a very specific need and they're not mass produced. But I use 2 light soft boxes on tripods, normally one here, and a ring light in front of me. But in this little office, I don't do that. I don't need to, because there's not much light to be pulled away from me. I'm really close to the camera. That's me pretty much touching the lens, and I'm not playing around. So all I need to do is the ring light to flood here. But when I go into the new office, I'm going to use multiple light sources to light me up. I'm even going to use ring lighty stuff behind me, you know, color, things like that. But I just wanted to point out that you don't have to have a massive setup. This is me stealing a corner in a tiny little room. And what I used to do is steal a corner in my living room, setting up the stuff and setting down the stuff. This is my general day-to-day equipment. Obviously, there'll be, for example, spare batteries and SD cards for the camera, all of which I'll list down below, but this is everything I film with.
You've got your camera or your phone and you're ready to start recording. Have you considered lighting?
Hello? Can you see me? It's so dark in here. That's the question though. Does lighting matter? One sec. Boo! It's amazing what a difference just one ring light does. All of a sudden you can see my face, it can focus, and so can the camera. But I've got a secret weapon. This thing here, it's a little controller. 2 little floodlights that you'd normally put out outside your house, in which there's a link in the description down below if you like the look of them. I can pick any colour I want, and I simply turn them on by one press of a button. Ta-da! I now have a brand. Right? I can choose whatever colours I wish. I've got the red and the blue. I can brand myself around this. You'll even see that my thumbnails happen to have this kind of colour shading. It's amazing the difference between right at the start of the video, all dark and dingy, and this now. Not to mention with the lights off, it looks grey and boring. And simply turning on lights make a world of difference, hopefully to your attention. But what I feel is an entertaining set. It can be my personality. So, what lighting do you use? Right? Have you considered the way you're framed and lit? Or do you sit at a table and worry about the orange light bulb that's above you? Ask yourself honestly, what's more entertaining? Something that changes and is entertaining and interesting, that looks like a disco? Or would you want it grey and boring? Please leave a comment down below. Disco!
You know what you want to record, you've figured out your lighting, but you're worried about the shake of a camera or the bad audio of your microphone. I've got you covered.
Hey, you look a bit shaky. Why don't we fix that for you? How to reduce shake. Now, I know I'm guilty of it. I know in my earlier videos when I was on webcam, I used to bounce about all over the place. It was shaky, it was horrible. Every time I bounced up and down, it caused a problem. Luckily enough now, I've got a tripod, a camera, and everything seems fine. But you might be out and about, you might be having the problems of shaky footage, and sometimes it's not so easy to digitally remove it or enhance it because you get the weird blurred edges. So here are my tips in improving your shakiness. 1. Let's say you're recording on a laptop. That's normally an entry level for most people. There you are, you're sat at a desk, there's the camera, you've got it stacked up on stuff, and you're aiming your camera lens from your laptop right at your face. Just be careful. Don't lean on the table that you happen to be on, because it will bang, it will shake. Do not gesticulate too much, because you might knock the tripod that is your books, or you might bang the table that will wobble it, and then you've got to deal with the wobble, you've got to deal with the bounce, because you've got to wait for the laptop to kind of calm down. If you have to use a laptop, pick a stable surface. A table's okay, but is it on a solid floor? If you need to, put it on a carpet, make sure the table's solid and wedged and that you are a distance away from it if you can be. The further you are away from it, fine, the audio will suffer, but you can then, you know, lapel mic it out, maybe sort it out. You can buy kind of tripods for laptop holding, and I know they're like 120, 150 pounds to get like a laptop tripod-y thing. If you have to go by the route of the webcam on top of the thingy, then go that way. Make it a stable base and make sure that you are fully aware that you can't be too animated just in case it bounces the floor or the laptop. 2, cameras and webcam. Now, if you truly can, try to avoid handheld content. I understand that it's not always possible, and I'll address that very shortly. But if you can mount it on something, if it's a webcam, if it's a camera, if you can put it on something stable, brilliant. If you truly have to use handheld, then try and get a tripod and try and use 2 hands, because 2 hands is more stable than 1. Or if you're not a tripod user at all, then hold it with both hands on your phone or your camera. Because just generally, if you hold your phone there one-handed, you'll see even just micro movements, right? And that's perfectly fine. And over time, if you're live streaming or if you're recording for 2-3 more minutes, that's still gonna wobble, and the camera's noticing that every little wobble. Whereas if you hold it with 2 hands, it's much more stable, it's much more comfortable, much less strain on your hand. Once again, a stable surface is best. So if you're sat in your car, wedge your phone or wedge your webcam or whatever you're doing, wedge it into the dashboard, or get a gorilla pod and wrap it round so it can't move. Really stabilize it as much as you can, and then of course focus on not bouncing as much or not moving your hands as much, because yes, the camera's stable, but if you bounce and you're in a car, or if you bounce and you're somewhere, it might just try to adjust, or you might knock it loose, or yeah. 3, the hardest kind is on the go. Now, I've done a few vlogs and I'm guilty of this. I'll go out on the canal and I'll go and walk, and it's a lumpy surface, and I'm using one hand and I'm trying to focus on the camera whilst trying to not fall over or get mugged by a duck. And these are tips that I need to take myself for the next time that I go on a walk. Can you stand still? It's a quick fix if you think about it. If you're walking, it's going to be bouncy. If you're stood still, you've immediately eliminated some of the bounce. You've immediately eliminated some of the potential shake. So if you're going to do a walking video, or if you're going to go out and about and explore the neighborhood around you, can you actually do it in clips? So, you know, let's say you walk out of your house and you're in your woodland, and then you walk out of your house and then you're around that corner, and then you're in the town centre, and then you're at the canal, and then wherever. I mean, that way you can pick the really interesting parts of the background. If I was doing it in Huddersfield, I could slowly show you the sights behind me. A canal, Huddersfield train station, Castle Hill, other landmarks, blah, blah. I get that might be a lot of travelling, or I get that you're worried that you might be walking, or you're trying to record content whilst on the go, so you're trying to be sensible and, you know, record a 3-5 minute video whilst getting to that bus. I understand that, I do. But if you can take a tripod with you and you can stick it on a wall, or you can get a gorilla pod and stick it in a tree, that kind of thing, because you are static, it eliminates most of the problem. Because once again, try to avoid using your hand, try and use a tripod over your hand, but even then, if you're trying to use a hand, try and use 2-handed. Or if you can't do the static thing, if you truly have to move to create the content, or you feel that it is paramount for the thing because it adds depth, or it adds honesty, or it adds whatever, then walk slower. There is such a thing as a cameraman walk. Basically, you just try and walk slow, you try and walk smooth, because that is still much more stable than which is a jerk. So next time I'm walking along the canal, instead of me plodding and turning from left to right on each one of my footsteps, if I actually slowed down and slowly walked, it is much smoother. And then at least if there is a bounce, it's more predictable. It's kind of like a nodding dog, and it's less erratic. If the audio's crap, you're screwed. So here's a few tips to improve that audio. Number 1, check your equipment. So many times I've done this. I've recorded a really good video, I really like it. I'm 6-7 minutes into the raw footage, and then you look back afterwards and the microphone was off, and now you're having to deal with the tinny in audio that is the camera, or it's crackling, or it's in and out. I've had a couple of clients send me footage where 1 minute the volume's really loud and then really low, and I have to try and edit it in post. And let's be honest, although you can try and salvage it, if there's bad audio, you're in for a bad experience. So check the audio, whatever you are recording it on, whether it's a webcam, whether it happens to be a microphone, whether it's a phone, whether anything, right? Do a dummy shot. 5-10 seconds. What I do at the start of all of my recording sessions, press record, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. I'll be honest, I forgot to do it this time, so I'm hoping this comes out okay. 10 seconds of your time counting at a camera can save you many, many, many hours of pain. Because let's say that was the only chance you could get to record that video. Say you've got a guest and then all of a sudden you've done an interview and there's no audio. You can't do anything with that. You can't even write text over it. It's ruined. Or you've got a deadline. You recorded 20 minutes worth of footage. The last 5 minutes you was in front of a, I don't know, waterfall, right? And you want to do something brilliant. If you check the audio, then you know what your problem happens to be. You could then overdub it if required, or re-record it. I mean, you can watch it on the go if you're lucky enough with a DSLR camera, but generally check it. Your microphone might be broken, something might be unplugged, your 3-year-old might have been playing with your camera and just changed some of the set. Just check your camera, check your settings, and then, you know, you won't be disappointed after all of your hard work when you put the file in. Open it up and you can't hear a thing. Number 2, move closer to the microphone. Like in this case, I've got myself pretty well set up. I know where my camera is, I know where my microphone is, and I know the distance I should be, but I know if I move a little closer, I can either talk a little softly, so say for example I'm changing the mood, or, you know, it's right there. And if you don't have a powerful mic like I do, then it solves the problem. Also, how many times have you seen it where someone's recorded some footage? It could be something great. Maybe even it's a speech, right, on stage, and because they're so far away, they have that empty room noise. It's either echoey or it's too distant and you have to adjust it. If it's a speech that you really want to see, then fine, but at the end of the day you'd prefer a much cleaner, crisper audio. Just because your camera is here doesn't mean that your microphone can't be here. So you can always use like a lapel mic, for example, or you can have a boom mic that's kind of just here, or you can have one of those stands. The camera doesn't have to be anywhere near you. Some of the most fantastic shots I've ever seen is people flying away with a drone and they've still got a lapel mic and you can hear them. Imagine if the microphone was on the drone. Useless. 3, talk louder. Now, this is simple. It's the thing that you can control. You just modulate your voice and talk a bit louder, project a bit more. If you're in an environment where you can do so, or if you're surrounded by people around you in a public space or behind a waterfall, in those kind of instances, if you talk louder, if it's too loud with the footage, then you can always modulate it down. It is much harder to make a soft noise louder than a loud noise softer. Also, it gives you a little bit to play with. So let's say you are on the opposite side of the room. If you speak louder, then the microphone doesn't need to be as close to you, right? Don't make that mistake that you put it right there and then it's gonna muffle it. Decide. Are you either going to talk louder or move closer or somewhere in the middle? 4, reduce the echo. Now, you may notice in some people's videos, they'll be sat there, they seem to have it framed, they seem to be lit okay, right? They seem to be talking clear, but there's an echo around them. So you can hear them perfectly, but you don't understand why you can hear the rest of the room. More than likely, they're in an empty room or quite an open room. The problem with that is there's nothing in the room to soak the sound waves back, so they bounce off the walls and come back to you. Do you remember when you was at school and you walked into the school hall, it was just you, it's a massive room, right, and your voice always echoed? Oh, it was brilliant, you could say anything you wanted, and you did, you know, just for shits and giggles. Even the smallest whisper at the back of the stage could carry across the room. The problem with that is that if you are now recording in a completely empty room, if I was only in the corner of a warehouse, you'd hear all of the warehouse as my voice bounces off the wall. That's why in some gamer situations you see that little black egg box stuff on the background. So what that does is when your voice hits it, it scatters the voice entirely, it muffles it, it doesn't bounce back to the microphone that it's trying to record from. So how can you solve this without spending loads and loads of money? Anything. Hang clothes, put up blankets, muffle things around it, focus in on the microphone itself, you know, enclose the microphone around so it's only pointing at you. If you can do that, in my case I'm in a staged office, so I've got full control. If you happen to be in a warehouse or you're doing a school project, put up some blinds of some kind. That way it kind of encloses the noise around you. It doesn't encourage it to travel too far away from you. Loads of things that can suck up the noise. Also, remember what you're recording on, right? If you're sat there with a flat table and flat walls and flat corner, all of those flatness will cause a problem. The table, maybe put a a towel on it, maybe hang some t-shirts in front of you, anything to break the sound waves. And then the echo should be reduced. Depending on the size of the room, it won't be entirely gone, but then you've got less of the problem. 5. Can you afford to upgrade the microphone? I understand that you may have gone out your way to spend 400-500 quid on a camera, or you're a student and all you've got is your webcam, right? I get that. But nowadays, microphone and technologies is quite cheap. When I first started on YouTube, I started recording with a little webcam, 720 HD cam from Microsoft. It was a life cam, it was okay-ish, and then I upscaled things. I then upgraded my own webcam to a Logitech C920, but the microphone on it was a bit meh. So what I did is I used the other webcam as a microphone, and I moved it closer to my mouth, and then the webcam was here and the microphone was there, and everything was fine because it's kind of, you know, effectively a lapel mic. That was an upgrade for an upgrade, and the other one became like a free microphone. Or yeah, you can use something like the Boya BY-M1 or MM1, there's a link down in the description below, or any lapel mics for that reason. You can get lapel mics for as little as 10 bucks, 10 quid. They clip onto you, they are right here. That way the sound doesn't have to travel far. All you have to do is make sure that the clothes aren't rustling around it, and it gives you such a better way of controlling your sound. Alternatively, I have right here a Video Mic Go from Rode, right, which is plugged in on the top of my camera. It's a shotgun microphone. I have a Boya BY-MM1 shotgun thing over there as well. Or if you're on a desktop, a PC, or a gamer, you can either get a headphone with a microphone, or you can get a microphone that just sits on your desk. Once again, move it as close to your face as you can without it causing any pop issues. And then yeah, if you're going to spend any money anywhere, go for your microphone first, because people are going to worry about their ears bleeding before they worry about having to, you know, focus on the video a little bit more to see it. 6, your surroundings. Where are you recording your content? Are you out and about? Focus on the noises. Like, if you can hear the buses in the background, if you can hear the school kids talking, if you can hear the waterfall in the distance, they can hear it too on the microphone. You need to adjust for that. So in one of my recent vlogs, I was walking along the canal, I was spouting out some wonderful tips, and I wanted to end the video on a look around yourself, focus on the things that you are doing, and here's a beautiful waterfall, blah, 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 blah. I pointed my camera at the waterfall, I forgot that the microphone was pointed at the waterfall, I didn't talk any louder, so my voice is either lower or around about the same sound as the waterfall, it kind of mushed into one. Luckily enough, I was able to deal with it, but if you remembered that, and you know it's coming up, or that's what you're planning for, either adjust and point the microphone at you, or remember that and deal with it in post-production. Once again, you can always talk too loud and edit it out, because if the waterfall was this loud and I'm this loud, or I'm this loud, I can always bring it down and it levels itself out.
You've got a fantastic video. It sounds great, but you need to master the art of thumbnail design. I've got you covered.
Hey, I've got a secret for you. It's all about thumbnails. Show them what they're looking for. I mean, physically show them. Let's say the video's all about this water bottle that just happens to be on that side of me when I randomly grab stuff. There you go, water bottle. Let's say the video is about the water bottle. Whoa! That's the thumbnail, along with the gobby kids outside that you can hear whilst I'm recording. It's all about showing what's in the thumbnail, right? It is, if the focus is here, all about this water bottle. In fact, I can either make it even more of a thing, and I can hide behind the thing that I'm pointing at, so you now know that the water bottle is the focus. Show the thing. I'm gonna put this over here now. One YouTuber that's very good at this is Mr. Beast. If he's putting 1 million Orbeez in his back garden, that's him, sat in his Orbeez. If he's playing Squid Game, there's the Squid Games. If he's playing hide and seek, if he's whatever, he is showing you in the thumbnail, even with minimal text, what it is all about, because it's a visual element. If this video was all about cake, then the thumbnail would be that cake. If it's very specifically a chocolate strawberry cake, or whatever it happens to be, highly run, then the thumbnail in itself could be a chocolate cake with the strawberries on it. You don't even have to have any words. It could be really focused in on just that specific cake, or a very small arrow that just says cake, or chocolate strawberry, or whatever it happens to be. If you're not able to show the thing on the thumbnail, tell the thing on the thumbnail. Big, bold words. Cheesecake, it's a boy, whatever you need to do. I do fairly well with this because all of my content is tutorial based here. So I can easily put how to make a thumbnail, how to turn on restricted mode, how to find whatever it needs to be, so I can very easily have private mode, private video, upload video, whatever it needs to be. I'm telling you with big, bold words. And as you can see from the thumbnails here, you can see a mile off the big words, but tell it with minimal text and with maximum impact. Just because the title of your video is how to knit pearl an entire jumper with just one roll of, you don't have to have every single one of those words on the thumbnail. It could simply be best jumper, knit fast, wherever it needs to be. I tend to suggest 2 to 3 words maximum have the biggest impact. Or if you can even lower it down to 1 and ask some form of question. Really? Why? That kind of thing. It builds an intrigue and makes people jump in on you. Faces! Now, I use faces in mine a lot. Why? Because my videos are all about me teaching you something. So, if it's a secret or if it's shocking, I use my face a lot and I normally zoom quite in. Why? Because there you can focus on this piece of text here. Faces help you with the emotion of the thing. Maybe you're sad. I've done a whole video about me talking about my depression and building up my business. That's a very sad video and the thumbnail's very sad. Link in the description if you want to go see it. Faces can emote. Faces can give you the excitement or the disappointment or the heartbreaking tragedy of the content. Faces also have some kind of inbuilt response to our human brain. Oh, face! And it kind of pulls you in. Now, over time, many people have taken advantage of this, and no doubt you've seen 50 billion thumbnails like this, all of which, no doubt, I'll probably screen cap and use in my own thumbnails in future. But faces can bring an emotional connection to the content, can either make you laugh or just pull you to the text that it needs to be pointed at. Match the emotion to the topic. If you're smiling and the whole video is about why I'm sad that I went to uni, how I lost my dad when I was younger, whatever it needs to be, the emotion is mismatched, it doesn't connect. Is it a shocking fact that you can get more views by using this tool? Shock. You don't want to poke fun at something that isn't funny. You don't want to be sad on something that's supposed to be exciting. Oversaturation. Now, I kind of cheat. If you haven't noticed, I've got a red background and a bluey purple background behind me, and it's deliberately kind of 50-50. The reason for this is that if I was just in a boring room, wait a second, I'll turn off my lights, it kind of looks weird and boring and grey. Now imagine this is the thumbnail. It doesn't really have anything and it's not going to catch your eye. Turning it back on, immediately you can see the difference. Immediately it colours the boring slightly more interesting. If you want to know how I do this, there is a video about my lighting down below. But the advantage of this is that if I'm taking a screenshot of my face and then I'm turning it into the thumbnail, when I oversaturate, the blue and the red now pops out. Now, it's the same for anything. You don't have to use your face and you don't have to use a screen cap from your own videos. But if you oversaturate the colours, it pops out a bit more. It could be a really nice red photo, but if it's red, then people will click on it a bit more. Go and have a look at some of the big boys. If they took out the colour grading, it's a good enough designed thumbnail. It's got all the good elements, but the colours could be dead. If you have a look at Mr. Beast, when he actually makes his videos, he records them in flat colour and then colour grades them later. I know Linus Tech Tips does that as well. Remember that a good 80% of your views could come from a mobile phone. So you need to pay attention to every inch of the thumbnail and every inch of the entire design process. If you're using really tiny text and you're on mobile, it's even smaller. Try and make a thumbnail at full scale and then shrink it down to even smaller. Can you still read what it is? Can you still have a look at that thumbnail and understand what that thing's supposed to be? Because if you're using the entire thumbnail and even on desktop, you're only focusing on something that small, say a pin, right? By the time it's shrunk into a mobile phone, it's good. That's why most of my thumbnails are really big and up here. Branding. Is your branding recognizable? All of my thumbnails have my face and recently these colors around me. So when you see the thumbnail, even without reading the text, hopefully you identify, oh, it's an Alan video, and then you click through. Philip DeFranco has his very set style, him in the middle and pictures around him. Drama Alert have that banner. If you're able to look at a thumbnail, not identify anything anything immediately, and in the first half second go, Linus Tech Tips, Alan Spicer, vidIQ, whatever it needs to be, that's the branding that you pull out and you accentuate. If you're using one thumbnail style and another thumbnail style and something randomly different, and then you copy somebody else but doesn't have your specific stamp on it, something that clearly makes it you, people might not realise it's your content. People might think it's somebody else's. If I started copying Nick Nimmon's thumbnails or Roberto Blake, or going down the route of, say, a Brian G. Johnson who has 2 poodles to feed, then over time I might just get lost in that shuffle, and that really good video that you saw, you might just think, oh, I'm not in the mood for another Nick video. It's not a Nick video, it's a me video, and you just whatever. Are you branding for your niche? This sounds a bit weird, but have a look at your rivals in the space and see what kind of things they are doing. I don't mean copy them, I mean see what's working well for them and understand why. If you're a Minecraft creator, you'll know there's a specific Minecraft style of genre that thumbnails run through. I certainly know that I'm a Destiny fan, and Destiny and first-person shooter kind of games have a very shouty style with the icons of the specific gun or the armor or whatever it happens to be slammed on the screen. The reason why you need to kind of familiarize yourself with those is because if you go wildly in the opposite direction, you might actually confuse your audience. You may have the advantage of looking at some of the larger YouTubers and making your own similar style, don't copy, but a similar style, and then they go, oh, okay, I know that person does those videos, and oh, he does them too? Brilliant, click, click, and then you might piggyback out of that until you start to develop your own style. I'm still a YouTube educator, and my thumbnails stand out differently from my other YouTube educators, but I still use very similar techniques. I make sure that the text is large, I make sure that you can see what I am talking about. The difference is I have a slightly different coloured background on my thumbnails, but you'd still be able to look at a Nick Nimmin thumbnail and a Brian G. Johnson thumbnail, a vidIQ thumbnail, and then one of mine, and you know that we're all kind of YouTube educators. Top, bottom, left, right. Now I understand that this may look a little bit different on the camera compared to where I happen to be, but please bear in mind with me that we in the Western world read top to bottom, left to right, and therefore the YouTube platform favours that Western bias, and so does our brain and our mind's eye. So anything important have in the top, the left, or in the top corner of your thumbnails. That's why most of the time I have a face that's over here and I'm pointing at text there, or if I am using text, then it's kind of crammed up here. Once again, the camera's flipping me, so I don't know if it's left or right or whatever it needs to be. Try to avoid the bottom right hand corner because there is a timestamp that loses you the ability to see it on the search bars. And if it's on the far right hand side, it may even be covered up by playlist numbers and stuff like that. So keep the important element of your content on the left hand side of your thumbnail, and that could be the core focus, whether that is the text screaming at you telling you what you're doing, or the whole picture of the cake, or the whole picture of the bike, whatever it needs to be.
Alan, it's thumbnailed, it's recorded, brilliant. But when's the best time to upload and publish that video? What is the best day and time to upload your YouTube videos? There's no point in creating absolute amazing videos if you're going to upload them and promote them at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no point in uploading amazing educational videos that are going to expand your children's brains, but in the middle of the day when they're at school. You've heard it time and time again. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And that sounds like fairly good generic advice. But did you know that your channel specifically might have a different time, a different day that is best for you, and it's only a click away? If your channel is brand new, then you won't have this information. It's hidden under the analytics and it's within the audience tab. Uploading a generalized timescale initially will help you to understand where your audience is, and as you get more and more views, this data will populate itself. Weekday evenings and weekends are more likely to have more people around, but you can also use your own brain. If it's business content, then try and fit it around what a business timeline looks like. If you're aiming for an American audience, you're not going to publish it in the middle of their nighttime. Now, here is the heat map for my own channel. It shows you the best days for me to upload, the best times for me to upload, and then I tailor my video uploads for those kind of zones. However, consistency is what matters the most. If you can commit to a consistent, regular schedule, people will tend to get used to you. Think of it like a TV show. Like, how many times are you used to in the UK, say EastEnders at 7 o'clock in the evening, Game of Thrones at 9 o'clock, that kind of thing? You kind of drill it into your brain and they build it around their routine. So if you really have to use a specific time slot due to life complications or work, then make sure that in the videos you are mentioning, okay, I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock, or you add it to your channel banner. At the end of the day, it's very important to publish content at the right time to get the most views for your videos. Fantastic. It's out there, but it's not getting the reach that I want. How do I get more views on YouTube? Because it's a fantastic piece of work and I just want it to get in front of more people. The secret little tricks that I always advise to my YouTube consultants that I've helped get their silver play buttons on how to get more views on YouTube. Let's be honest, everybody wants to upload videos and get more views than they had in their last video. This is where I hyper focus on these key points, because every time you improve on these points, the better you will get. You ready? Have you got a notepad? Stick to the end for my absolute killer tip, by the way. Point number 1, improve your thumbnail. Yes, everybody knows that thumbnails are important, but did you know that you can A/B thumbnail test your thumbnails? So not only do you upload an idea, but if you feel that that thumbnail's not doing well, you can put other thumbnail creations against it and see which one does best. Don't just stop there, however. If you find that a smiling face works better than a sad face, or no face at all with text, then have a look at colors. You can A/B thumbnail test for free over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, if you've got 1,000 people looking at your thumbnail and you can improve that click-through rate by just 1 or 2%, it makes a huge difference on the amount of people that can click on your content, can engage with your videos and subscribe going forward. 2, hook people early. I told you at the start of this video that these are all my secrets that I tell my people, my consultant clients, to get their silver play buttons. That's a hook. It's true, but hopefully it makes you keep watching. At the end of the day, your view on this video doesn't just make me 1 views. You watching this video for longer shows the YouTube algorithm that it's a video that's worthwhile, that helped you, and then it will go out and find other people just like you that are looking for the same kind of content. That's called the algorithm. You've got to think of every person that watches this video. YouTube understands who they are, where they live, what videos they've watched before, what search term they've used to get to me. They then imagine 100 other people that just like you, and they go off and serve this video to them, because hopefully that's exactly what they were looking for. And that's why you need to improve the thumbnail, the click-through rate, the title. 3, use keyword research to base your video idea around. In every single title on this channel, I make sure there is a keyword that people will be searching for to find. The keyword for this video is chocolate cake. No, of course it's not, because this video is not about chocolate cake. How to get more views on YouTube. Get more views on YouTube. 2 key phrases there. Views on YouTube. There's another one. I use those in the title. I make sure they're in the description. I make sure they're in the tags. This way, this video is then relevant for search. But let's say this video isn't really search food. I'd still make sure that there is some kind of hook in the title or the description that brings people back. Mr. Beast, for example, has a specific series of things. 1 versus 100. YouTubers versus celebrities. $1 hotels versus $1 million hotels. He has formats that people are used to, and those have become keywords and search terms. Plus, at the end of the day, if you're Mr. Beast, just your channel name is searchable. Number 4 in how to get more views on YouTube is promote the video. You can't just upload a video and then hope that it goes well. You need to share it out, but most importantly, share it out to places where the audience for that video happens to be. There's no point in upload a video that's about chocolate cake and putting it in Dieters Anonymous skydiving classes and how to learn French, because although you might attract a few people, those aren't really the audience that you're looking for. And when they arrive and they watch 2 to 3 minutes of your 10-minute video and then they're done, that doesn't show YouTube that you've made the right content for that person. However, if you did a how to skydive tutorial or the best equipment for skydivers, and you've shared it within skydiving communities and risk takers and stuff like that, that's very much their thing, and therefore they would engage more. Not only do you get more viewers from those audience niches, but they are then also that kind of bubble. Once again, for every one skydiver that it shows to another 100, like the algorithm. So promoting it in the right place. Don't just spam it all over the place, because you might get views, but you're getting the wrong type of views. It's better to have 10 people that are truly interested in that video than 1,000 people that don't give a crap. And now here is the thing that I promised at the start of the video. The most important tip of all: you need to subscribe to this channel right now. I'm joking, but hey, 60% of you aren't actually subscribed to this channel. You watch these fantastic tips and then you don't hit that subscribe button, so please. Number 5, maintain a consistent posting schedule. Group your videos into playlists and encourage binge watching. Basically, if you know that I upload every Monday and Thursday at 5 o'clock, you'll hopefully get used to that rhythm. You'll build it into your life. You know, okay, I come home, I sit down, I have a cup of tea, I watch one of Alan's tutorials, I make notes, I go improve my YouTube journey. But if I also say, hey, if you really like these frequently asked questions that really fuel your brain and answer all of those niggling doubts in your head, check out this playlist, then you'll go and binge. I don't fully understand what this RPM, CPM money making thing is. Can you explain that to me, Alan?
What is RPM? YouTube has recently added the new metric into the dashboard. Under analytics, under revenue, you'll see the old-fashioned CPM and now RPM. RPM is new, and RPM has been placed there because it's important for YouTube in some way, shape or form to teach you that. That's why it's been given such a high priority. And normally when they do something like this, it's something that you need to pay attention to. Just like when they moved watch time to the top and they started talking about watch time more, it meant that they was focusing on watch time more often. RPM is what you earn from your channel. This is exactly what you get from the slice of the revenue of every ad and every sticker and every super chat that is sent to you. So how is this any different to CPM? Well, CPM is your entire channel and the advertisers before YouTube takes money away from you. When you sign up for an AdSense account, you'll have a deal of around about 35 to 40% of the income. The other 60 to 65%, maybe even up to 70%, goes to YouTube. They find the ads, they serve it against your specific videos, they take a large cut, you get 20, 30, 40%. Now, the longer you've been on the platform and the more high priority your channel happens to be, you may get a better cut of that CPM, including things like super chats, donations, that kind of thing. So how is RPM calculated? You get your adverts, and let's say it's a 70-30 split. You get your 30% of the revenue, they take the rest. If you get a super chat, once again, YouTube takes their 70% just to simplify it. If you have a super sticker at some point during your super chat thing, then once again, there goes the cut. And nowadays, if you'll see below here, I've got a shelf of all of my wonderful t-shirts and mug designs. You can get a start creating mug, a start creating t-shirt, leggings, phone cases, that kind of thing. All of those down there also have some kind of revenue share. So RPM actually means what you earn from it all. For example, I might be getting a 10, 11, 12% CPM. So for every 1,000 views in theory, my videos or my channel earns 12, 13, 14 bucks, but my RPM is what hits my bank account in a month's time. So let's say my RPMs are around about $4 for every 1,000 views. Once YouTube's taken out all of their cuts of my t-shirts and my super chats and stuff like that, then I would get that $3, $4, whilst YouTube makes the remaining $7, $8, $9 from the rest of the CPM. Why is RPM important? Well, it's important because it now clarifies exactly what you earn. For a very long time, you used to look at the CPM and then kind of guess, or you'd look at your 1,000 views per month and then you'd have a look at a figure and then you'd realize, okay, 10,000 views gets me X amount, 100,000 views got me X amount, and then you started working out in your head that that's your channel average and it would go up when you got more views. That's why most people suggest that it's maybe $1, $2 or $3 per 1,000 view, when truly it's not. Because if a video is seen 1,000 times, it doesn't always have adverts against it every single time. And if you're doing live streams, for example, you're sat there for 3 or 4 hours maybe getting a load of channel donations, then you may not get thousands of views, but you might be getting a good few super chats that boost that as well. So you've seen a creator get 50 quid in a super chat, but what that actually means is they made around about $25, maybe less. But for YouTube, it's very important to understand what your RPM happens to be, especially if you're going to turn it into a business so it can expand and you understand how much money you're putting in, how much you get out per 1,000 views, and then you can tweak it accordingly. So how could you change this value? How could you make more money? How could you raise your RPM? First of all, increase your CPM, because the more you're earning, then you get a percentage of that pie, the larger that piece of pie becomes monetary value-wise. If you're creating content that's very edgy, that gets demonetized all the time, then that's going to hurt you in the RPM bracket. But here I talk about business, I talk about money, and I talk about YouTube. So it's a safer topic for them to place adverts against. It gets a slightly higher CPM. I tend to find that entertainment stuff, so gaming and lifestyle, gets a slightly lower CPM because it's common and there's loads of it. Whilst if you're getting very, very specific and you're people like Graham Stephan, in which you're talking very specifically about tax and real estate and investment and that kind of thing, then because you are a rarity, they'll pay slightly more for it. Also, you've got to think of the companies that would advertise against that. If I'm talking about finance, then banks and insurance companies are going to be placing adverts against me. Banks and insurance companies aren't going to be placing adverts against me playing with a kid's toy because a toddler or a 10-year-old doesn't really want to buy home insurance and life insurance. That's not the target market. To increase your RPM, you can also look at sales. Therefore, the more t-shirts you buy, the better cut you might get. This is thinking on the YouTube platform in itself. If obviously you sell stuff outside the YouTube ecosystem, YouTube doesn't take a cut at all. So if you wanted to buy some thumbnail templates, for example, or you wanted to use any of my affiliate links, there's links down below where you can buy those kind of things and you have those kind of arrangements elsewhere. Or if you hire me directly as some kind of coach, then I would not have to give YouTube their 70% slice and you get an hour of my time, for example. The RPM is only calculated on the platform. Here, what they earn. Here, what is funneled through YouTube and AdSense and spat out at the other end. But you can boost that by selling more t-shirts or encouraging more super chats. You've got those funky little stickers. You can look for donations. You can figure out some way that you could do a Q&A with them super chatting you, or you can do channel audits. Some channels do that. But once again, anything that comes through the YouTube platform will then be sliced down into revenue shares, which then create the RPM. But in theory, if you've only got a video that only has adverts, then that would have standard CPM. But if that video then also has super chats and merch sales, then that will raise the CPM of that video and then overall the RPM of that video, because that video in itself becomes more of a sales magnet. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, great. I've got the views, I've got the advertisement money coming in, but how do I make money with other people? Like that affiliate thing, not a problem. I've got exactly the video for you proving that you can make money online. This is one of my best performing.
Imagine if you could set up one thing, have it automate your entire process and pay you or even grow your YouTube channel and community online completely hands off. I'm going to deep dive into how I do it, how you can do it. There are no pad and pen. This is very important. You follow every step and you can start making money yourself or expanding your brand from today. So this is Jaya. This is a 24/7 live streaming tool. So instead of you having to sit there and manufacture engagement with your audience, you can create something, upload it, and have it continually play. This could be a back catalogue of your videos. For example, if you have a look at Simon Whistler, he's got mega projects, Into the Shadows, Decoding the Unknown. He's got a range of channels, but he routinely displays his infotainment videos in live streams. Alternatively, you could be a musician and you want to play your music on loop, or you want to try one of those lo-fi hip-hop study channels. These type of channels can earn thousands per month. But from my own personal experience, I can promise you and prove to you that I'm making at least $400 per month. And best of all, they set you up for success. They're there to help you increase engagement on your YouTube channel, get maximum views on places like Twitch with pre-recorded content, maximize your brand recognition. You can even live stream to places like Facebook. And most importantly, when it comes to places like YouTube, it can improve your watch time and retention rates. Now, I was running a kids channel for a period of time. I even got a silver play button for it. And what they did on a regular basis was stitch all of their episodes together and put them on a repeat. Now, as myself, as a father of 2 kids, I know that those type of YouTube channels are an absolute lifesaver if you need 5, 10, 20 minutes to go and quickly cook some lunch or visit the bathroom. It's completely hands off the tour, not the bathroom visit. Best of all, you can start with a free trial. Once you've created your account, you log in. To start with, you'll be given a server. The server is where you upload your content to. This is under storage on the left-hand side, and you'll see here that I've got a few videos that I've uploaded already. Now, these can be individual videos that you upload, or you upload a load of individual videos, and then you can add it to playlists that will autoplay those videos back to back to back for you. That also means that you can extend that playlist at any time, even while live. So you'd create a playlist, give it a playlist name, you go back to the file page, you choose the files that you want to add to that playlist. So I'll add these 4, for example, and then I click playlists, choose that it goes onto the funny playlist and click add. Now in this case, it's warning me that they're not the same file format, which is perfectly fine. What I can now do is, see, all 4 of them are still ticked. These 2 have been optimized by Jaya and these 2 haven't. What that means is Jaya has compressed the file so it's smaller, set out the frame rate, so that means that it will stream without any issues. And if you want to help with that, you simply click the ones that you want to optimize and click optimization. It will then say here, like video size, conversion, how much it costs in tokens, what platform you're optimizing it for, what format you're looking for it to be, whether it's horizontal, vertical, 30 frames per second, 4K, that kind of thing. So I'm going to choose horizontal 1080. Right, it will say the size of the optimized file. It will automatically give you a title, and you can even delete the original from storage if you so wish, once it's been optimized to save room. Okay, and then you say yes, the file will be saved in my storage, and I click start optimization. You'll now see here that the video file is being optimized, and when it's done, it will be placed back in here, and then you can add them to your playlists. Playlist, funny videos, add. Okay, the video's been added successfully, so now you can rearrange them by simply dragging and dropping. In the meantime, you can see the other 2 videos are here in converting. Now, to generate a live stream, go to the live stream on the left-hand side, you click add streams, you put in the name of the stream, the platform that you are looking to live stream to, you put in your stream key and the video ID. If you want more in-depth example of how you do that specific section, there is a video down below. It's a dedicated video. You can then go to video and you choose what video that you are live streaming itself. So that's either an individual video or a playlist. So we're going to do funny videos. Yes, these are the videos that are in that playlist. Once again, you can choose the order by dragging and dropping. Click save. You can now see that it's been added over here. I have a live stream that's already live, which is the 24/7 chill lo-fi beats in 4K. That belongs to my meditation channel. You can see it here. It's currently live. So the best thing about this is that the video is now live. In this case, it's chill beats. She's sitting there, she's studying, and not only is she racking up views and watch time for me, but she's also racking up AdSense for me. I can place anything I want in the descriptions as well. So therefore, this is my referral link to Jaya in itself, and I can sell ebooks and stuff like that alongside it. If you're not quite sure when you want to go live, you can also use the scheduling tool. So in this case, sleep music, event title, auto start at a specific time and date. It will then add it to the calendar. That way, once again, completely hands off if you want to switch out live streams. And interestingly, this is the part where I tell you how I make $400 per month from Jaya in itself. I use their affiliate scheme. So as you can see here, over the course of the last year, I've made $4,160. In the last 28 days, there's $426 there on hold, which will be paid out over the next 28 days. I make 17% commission on every sale that comes through their system. The best thing about this is it's recursive as well. So not only do I get 17% now when you sign up, but if you continue to pay on a monthly basis, I'll get a slice of that. And if you upgrade to another package as well, I'd get a slice of that. You generate your affiliate links here. You click add referral link. You choose whether it's a partner, so whether I'm referring you as someone that wants to sell this, or whether I'm selling you the specific product, right? That way you can either make money off of people making money, or you can make money off of people using the software in itself, and you know it's a good quality product because I'm using it for you. It will keep track of every sale for you and tell you when you're going to get paid. This, for example, is my last few payments and sales for the last 28 days. You can easily withdraw, whether it's to a PayPal account, you can be paid in crypto, or if you're already using the service as customer, you can get paid in Jaya credit in itself. That way, you never have to pay for the service. And they even have a little breakdown of performance of how well the affiliate program has done for you recently. If you have any questions and need any help, there are usage guides, every single question that you could possibly think of to help you, and it also explains how the subscriptions work and how the affiliate process works. So as you can see here, for every person that you retain, the longer you retain them, the more you get paid, 10% per time. You can see where it upgrades as well. It even recommends for you, and it also shows you how if you bring other people in underneath you, you can earn a slice of their affiliate income as well. They offer some affiliate branding details as well, so you've got your logos if you want to use them in videos. There's a brand guide via Brand Fetch. It explains who they are, what they do, what fonts they can use, that kind of thing if you want to keep it in brand. And best of all, the more you sell, the more they will reward you. As you can see here, you can get up to 20% payout. So I'm currently at the VIP partner level, right? I haven't been conked for any of this, like they haven't jumped me up to VIP partner just because I'm promoting it. I've been promoting it, full stop. I use this. It's a tool that I like. I make money from it, and I want you to make money from it too.
Hopefully that helps you start a YouTube channel, decide what videos you want to create, make them look fantastic, understand the money, and even sign up for an affiliate program. If you want to learn more from my 2 decades of being on YouTube, hit subscribe. And of course, check out this video. This one I made just for you. Go and click this.